Welcome to the Bag Hag Digest. Mwah! It's Trina. Hi guys, welcome back. Today I have a follow-up video. A couple of weeks ago I posted a top 10 number on things to avoid when buying an expensive handbag. So this week I thought I would follow up to that and give you a top 10 list of things to look for when you are buying perhaps your first luxury end handbag. So if you're a person, again, who is not a minimalist, who likes to have a lot of handbags, doesn't mind dropping a lot of coin on those handbags, then this video is definitely not for you. But if you want to be a little more careful with your money and want to make sure that you make the best possible purchase, and indeed that can go for people who are not minimalist as well, and people who also have a lot of money. We don't want to buy stuff, at least most of us, unless we're just pure collectors. We don't want to accumulate stuff that just takes a space on in our closet, or and doesn't serve its purpose. I'm a handbag lover. I'm sure if you're watching this, you also enjoy the handbags, but that means using them as well, right? So, okay, without further ado, let's get to it. Number one is size. So size, there's no perfect size. It depends on you and what you use most often. So it comes down to knowing your lifestyle and your needs. Obviously, if you're someone who has to lug around their laptop or gym stuff all the time, then maybe you want a bigger bag. But I think most people would do better off something in the middle. The little nighttime bags are good for nighttime, but if you don't go out a lot, then you're not going to get much use out of it. Likewise with the bigger bags that haul around your computer. If you don't use it every day, what's the point? So choose the most often used size, I think. If you choose a bag that's just a little too small on one occasion, then you can carry around a paper tote to get those extra things in there. And if you're going on a night out, it's better to have a little bit of extra room in your bag than not be able to fit your stuff into a little cute bag. So go for a little bit bigger than nighttime and a little bit smaller than your bigger needs, I think. You should be able to put in your purse, your keys, your everyday necessities. Sunglasses perhaps would be nice. Room for an agenda would also be good. A book in case you need those things. So a good size bag. It depends though. I mean, like this, I'm going to bring this bag up a few times in this video. This is the jumbo bag from Rebecca Minkoff. I would say this is leaning on the big size of a medium-sized bag. I think it's basically too big. I don't wear it that often for that reason, but it does fit everything that I do need into a day's use. Okay, point number two is color. Neutral colors and dark colors are best because they just work much more with everything else. Unless there's one particular color that you find yourself gravitating to again and again, I would opt for a black or a beige or a gray or something along those lines. Kind of boring, but you will use it more often. And likewise, the metal, what jewelry you normally use. If you normally like gold, then go for gold. But champagne gold probably goes with both gold and silver, so that's one option to consider. The good thing about having a darker colored purse is pretty obvious. It's not going to show stains, wear, and tear as much as a light colored purse. But if you abhor anything dark in your wardrobe, then of course don't listen to this advice, but it's definitely what I would go for. Number three on the list is going to be options. You want to have lots of options with your handbag. And what do I mean by that? Well, versatility. So if you're having a shoulder bag, can you carry it crossbody? Can you shorten the strap? That kind of thing. If it's a tote, is there an option to make the tote longer? Like, is there an extra strap? Like, that kind of thing. So a good example would be the new Louis Vuitton on-the-go tote. There's two straps in there that makes it fantastic. Or again, this Rebecca Minkoff bag that you can detach the straps and carry it as a clutch, although this one's probably too big for that. You can shorten the straps multiple ways, and you can also wear it crossbody. So this is ultimate versatility in a bag, I think. And it doesn't go just for straps, it also goes for, I think, things like the closure and the pockets. So these days, more and more, you'll want to have a back flap in your bag, and that's because everybody has a cell phone or everybody has an Oyster card or whatever they call them to get in and out of public transportation. And having an easy accessible back flap, this one has a magnet, but if you want something more secure, you could go for one with a zipper. And that's the reason why bags like the Louis Vuitton Pochette Métis are so popular, because they do have that extra functionality. Also, a negative for this bag is the fact that it's a flat bag, and the front flap rather, is very large, and the Chanel Boy bag is similar in that way. So if you're the type of person that needs to access the inside of their bag all day, in and out, this is going to drive you nuts. You might want to opt for an open tote or a tote or some sort of bag with a zipper in the front that allows you quick and easy access, and hence the need for the back pocket, right? So this little guy here, it's very, very tiny, but it's excellent design in this, because it is open, but it's so tight in there that nothing ever falls out, except for maybe the chain right now. And I have a zippered pocket, and I have all these little compartments where I can hide and stash things away. So the way a purse is organized is definitely something you want to look at. Think about your needs, the functionality of it, essentially, right? Back to bag straps. I've ranted on this again and again too, but go for any detachable straps that you can find in a handbag. Anytime you can detach a bag strap, it means you can change it out for another strap as well, which will completely change the look of your bag. So a couple of brands that have done this recently have been the new version of the Fendi baguette. Now, I had a Fendi baguette. I had a few of them actually. I sold them because I just didn't like the strap and couldn't change it out. But the new bag is amazing because it comes with straps already, and you can totally change it out. It's excellent. And again, if Louis Vuitton is considered way out of your budget, then Coach for most people is still a very expensive handbag, but still within reach for a lot of people. So what's it called? The Coach Cassie, excellent design handbag for everyday wear. It looks a little plain in my opinion, which is why I would prefer the Louis Vuitton one, but that is a good example of a good everyday handbag. The only downside is that it is a little bit unfancy if you want to take it tonight. I think we're on point number 5, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's 4. I think I lumped a few of these points together earlier, but the next one in any case is style. And I did mention this in my last video. So style, when I refer to style, I mean, you know, like the classic shapes. Basically the shape, essentially, right? The shape of the bag is the style. So if you want to be able to sell your bag later on, or if you want to be able to use your bag regardless of fashion trends, I would recommend a classic style. You cannot go wrong with a classic shape bag. It makes for better resale potential and also will stand the test of time. I hate that cliche, but you know what I mean. You can wear it for years and not look outdated. Like the Alma or the Speedy or the Chanel flap, those are classic styles. Even if you get them in different brands, they are going to last into the years ahead, I think. Now, if you want to be really fashionable and you're not sure if that is worth the investment, because you don't know if it's a style that's going to last for more than a year or 2, then I would suggest going for like a cheap dupe bag. I know this is not very eco-friendly mindset, but it's better than buying an expensive bag and regretting it and not being able to sell it, I think. So I would go that route for a bit, resell that bag if you decide that it's something you want to invest in long term. And of course, remember, you can always go pre-loved, which is always the better choice for both your wallet and the environment. Okay, number 6, I think we are number 6, we could be number 5. In any case, it's the design of the bag. When I say design, I don't mean, again, aesthetics. I'm referring to more like the industrial design, the functionality, how it's put together to make it function and make it look sleek. Just like, you know, the Mac, Apple computers are so beautifully designed. Simple, elegant, functional. That's what we're going for in a bag, most of us anyway. The design of your bag is going to impact the bag's longevity as well as its usability. Design is definitely something you'll want to consider when you're coughing up a lot of coin for a bag. A perfect example of what I'm thinking of here is the Palm Springs mini backpack by Louis Vuitton. The first round of that bag was very poorly designed. They had a flap around the zippered portion of the bag, and the flap basically not only made the bag difficult to access, but also was very prone to wearing down. So they ended up having to relaunch that bag with a new design. That's one good thing about avoiding trend bags, is because if there are any design flaws, you're going to be stuck with them. It's sometimes better to wait for the improved iteration of a model. Speaking of the Pochette Métis, there were some returns on that bag because of the way, that bag intrinsically, the way it's designed, it's going to potentially be open to cracking around the edges of the bag. So when you're looking at a certain design, look at the places where there are edges. Like for example, this is curved, so it's going to be a lot less prone to wear than something like this bag, which I don't know if you can see here, but already this, because I'm putting it upright on the table, this is already going in and it's getting worn on the edges and looking quite nasty here in the lining too, with it where it's buckling over a bit. So if you look at the bag, you can sometimes predict how it's going to wear over time, and these are what I call parts of the design element. Good design, better longevity. Another thing to consider is the hardware and how it interacts with the bag, and also how the bag interacts with your body. If you have a lot of, if it's a cross-body bag, for example, and it's rubbing against the side of your body, how is that going to impact the surface of the bag? If you've got a glittery lame type bag and it's always rubbing and chafing against your body, that part of the bag is going to get really gritty. So this was a design flaw, I think, with the Gucci, what's it called? Forgot the name of it. It's I think it's a Greek god. It's got the little snake around the front. I'll put it up here somewhere. Yes. So that bag, often some models of it had a suede pocket in the back. So suede's a beautiful material. The pocket in the back's a great idea. But what did it do? That wore against your body, and invariably people, after just 1 year of wear, it looked really naff on the back of the bag. Not a good material to have on the back of a bag. And also the chains. So here I have, this is what I mean by the chain. You can see that this attaches to the top of the, oh, it's not very good focus here. You can see that there's a D-ring here, and this chain attaches here. And when it's moving, it doesn't disrupt the leather on the side of the bag. So that's a good thing. But if you have this chain strap further down here, the chain will rub against the bag. So you have to look for these kinds of small, I know I'm being finicky here, but if you do want your bag to last, these are things to look for, right? What number are we on now? Number 7, 6? It goes without saying that if you're spending a lot of money for a handbag, you're probably going to get a better quality handbag, right? And for the most part, that's true, but not always. You can get good value for money with a lesser brand, but if you want that fancy brand and you are deciding to spend a lot of money on a bag, chances are it will be a better quality bag. But nonetheless, there are some things to look for that are out of the control, let's say, of, it's just the nature of the material. So for example, suede. Suede is going to wear a lot more easier than leather, like a hard Saffiano or Epi leather, or something that's a treated hard leather that will definitely last longer. Likewise, lambskin, very delicate material, and that's why it's considered luxury. Baby animals, though, that really, it does make me sad. I don't consider myself a huge activist when it comes to animal rights and things like vegetarianism, environmentalism. But I think if we all make small choices, they can have an impact. And when it comes to things like lambskin, even leather in general, I think it's better to buy secondhand. Sorry, I'm going off topic. Quality of your bags, right? Okay, so with the leathers, choose a sturdier leather. With materials, other materials, things like denim are gonna wash and fade over time. Certain materials, wicker, depending on how it's put together, might deteriorate faster than others. Just look at the quality look at the type of materials, not just the quality of those individual materials. For metals, I would go for ruthenium as opposed to, or stainless steel even, as opposed to a silver like Rebecca Minkoff bags. I've ranted about this before, but the chains are all coated and this will chip in time and look pretty nasty. So avoid that. Avoid your oil slick metals, your gunmetal. Gunmetal is probably not too bad if it's not coated. But I think the classic champagne gold chain is probably a good option because you can wear it with, for versatility purposes, like I think I mentioned earlier, you can wear it with both silver and gold if you like that kind of versatility. And also the chipping won't show as much. So do look at the chain quality in addition to the materials that are used in the bag. And also, of course, the stitching. The stitching is important. Most of your higher end bags are gonna have good stitching though, but do look at the seams when they end and think about how they're going to last over time. That's more related to a previous point, I think. And then there's that famous vachetta or vaquetta leather from Louis Vuitton. I'm not a fan. I'm gonna be dyeing the rest of my vaquetta leather Louis Vuitton items black because I just like black better, and I don't like the way that vachetta or vaquetta wears over time. No brainer. Get rid of that Louis Vuitton. Get some more black in there, you know? Okay, I think we're at number 8. I'm not sure. So much for top 10. I've lost count of the numbers. In any case, this one, the next point is about personal style and taste, and it's just reiterating what I said in my other video, which is to know your personal style, know what you like, know what works for you. Don't buy a bag that you love but isn't really your style, or that doesn't match anything in your wardrobe, or just matches who you want to be and not who you are now. That's just, in my opinion, a waste of money. Number 9 is, of course, when you get that expensive handbag, make sure that you are absolutely in love with the bag. Of course, that's important, but it's not enough. It has to not only be well loved and respected by you, but it has to be something that you're going to use. It's going to be functional for you too. So do think about all those other things I've mentioned so far. Fear of missing out is a factor that is going to get in the way of your decisions. And likewise, buyer's remorse is something to consider. It's hard when you're dropping a lot of money. You've got to weigh the pros and the cons. You don't want either of those regret or remorse situations. But knowing yourself and your needs is going to reduce the likelihood of those things happening. But if you have to choose between fear of missing out and buyer's remorse, I would take the former, because there'll be plenty of handbags in the future and your wallet will thank you a lot more for it. Now finally is, of course, the price. Okay, so if this is an expensive handbag for you, been saving up so much for it, do make sure it's not completely out of budget, even if you've definitely saved up money for it. And the reason for that is some people buy, save up, they buy that handbag and then they're afraid to use it, or they realize how, perhaps in retrospect, wow, I spent that much money on a handbag and I just don't feel comfortable carrying it. So that's a sad situation, and if that's you, then you shouldn't be buying that handbag, quite simply. You know, unless you're buying it to put on a shelf in a well-controlled room just for investment purposes. Maybe it's a Birkin or now a Chanel, and you, like for me, I wouldn't buy a Chanel new ever. That's just too much money for me personally, and I just feel like I'm throwing my money in the toilet, unless it were something I'd put in a safety deposit box. But I think there are other things that you can invest in as well, maybe gold or silver, for example. So I think I feel more comfortable doing that than in a Chanel bag. Plus it takes up a lot of space. And also I move a lot, so that's a pain in the butt. So when we talk of price, I think we're talking more of what's called value. It doesn't really matter how much the bag is for you. It's more of, is the price going to be worth it vis-a-vis how often you use it. And if you do buy a Chanel or a Hermes or a Louis Vuitton and the classic styles, the good thing is that you can always potentially resell it and recoup part of your money further down the road, potentially, but I wouldn't bank on it. Bank. Okay, bag lovers, I don't know if that was exactly 10. I lost track a bit there, but I think that's plenty of tips for you to go on for now. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it helps you in your next or your first handbag purchase, and we'll see you in the next video. Hasta luego. Bye nada, baby. Mwah. Bye-bye.